Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Joanna Ho. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. The government abandons vaccine passes and PCR tests for arrivals, but the mask mandate remains. Health Chief Lo Chung-mau dismisses fears of a vaccine shortfall if there's a surge of mainland visitors. And Hong Kong hits out at Tokyo's flight curbs, which disrupted the holiday plans of thousands. After battling COVID strenuously for almost 3 years, Hong Kong is scrapping most of its remaining restrictions. But people will still have to wear masks to protect them from a possible surge in COVID cases and respiratory infections during winter. Chief Lo reports.
Starting tomorrow, only those who contract the virus will have to isolate for 5 days. Close contacts will be exempt. The vaccine pass scheme, introduced in February, will be abandoned, with people no longer required to show proof of vaccination before entering venues such as restaurants. This is because the city has achieved a 94% vaccination rate for 2 doses and 83% for 3 jabs. In addition, over 2.5 million people have been infected. Mandatory PCR tests on arrival for inbound travelers, including from the mainland, will be lifted. Health Minister Lo Chung-mau did not specify if anyone who ignores the advice to conduct RAT tests for 5 consecutive days upon arriving will be punished. And although all inbound travelers still need to have tests before departing for Hong Kong, they no longer have to complete the online health declaration form. All social distancing curbs, such as the outdoor gathering limit of 12 people and cap per table in restaurants and bars, will be scrapped. Only the mask mandate will remain. The chief executive said the relaxation is in no way sudden.
There will always come a day when we have to make big decisions about normalization. That is exactly what we are doing now, because the time is appropriate for us to do it, having prepared for 6 months to do all these.
The health minister emphasized the importance of masks.
In order to protect our citizens from the risks of not just COVID, but also influenza and other respiratory tract infection, which we will be facing the winter surge, actually for now and actually in the next couple of months. So in terms of this measure, we will be keeping it for until we get over this winter surge.
The chief executive added that he is aiming for the mainland border to be reopened by January 15, a week before the Lunar New Year. Chief Lo, HKIBC.
The health secretary has shut down fears that a potential influx of mainland visitors could lead to a vaccine shortage. Lo Chung-mau said the government will not vaccinate tourists and they will be charged a premium for COVID medication. Raymond Yang reports.
With cross-border travel set to fully resume, the regional distributor of BioNTech vaccines is already preparing for a surge in bookings. Starting yesterday, Fosun Pharmaceutical Group is allowing mainland residents who wish to receive its mRNA COVID shot in Hong Kong to sign up online. But essential information such as price, location, and date were all missing, and there was no guarantee of a slot. While mRNA vaccines are widely administered around the world, they were not approved for use by Beijing. Mainland residents can only rely on homegrown jabs, which are less effective. The news caused jitters among Hong Kongers, who worry they may be sidelined for COVID treatments. Health Secretary Lo Chung-mau quickly dismissed such fears, saying non-SAR residents who arrive on short visits will not be entitled to free COVID jabs from the government. But authorities have no plans to regulate the private sector providing vaccines to tourists. If visitors wish to sign up for the bivalent or the toddler formulation of BioNTech, they must first stay for 30 days, Lo added. As for consultations, visitors cannot access designated COVID clinics and will be charged around $6,000 for COVID medication dispensed at public hospitals. Dozens of community testing centers will remain in operation. Demand is expected to surge as people heading to the mainland must first obtain a negative PCR result. Secondary students may no longer need to perform daily rapid antigen tests, but the requirement will stay at primary schools and kindergartens. Raymond Yang, HKIBC.
Imported COVID cases in Hong Kong have surpassed 1,000 for the first time. There were 20,865 new infections today, of which 1,176 were imported. The virus claimed another 59 lives. The health department, meanwhile, found that 1/4 of adults have not exercised regularly, probably because of the pandemic and social distancing measures. In a survey of 16,000 people between October 2020 and January this year, the department also found that 98% of the respondents did not eat enough fruit and vegetables. The government has urged Tokyo to scrap its newly introduced flight curbs, under which Hong Kongers can use only 4 airports to enter Japan. The arrangement affected many travelers, with one travel agency saying over 3,000 of its clients had to change their holiday plans. From Friday, Hong Kongers can only enter Japan through 4 airports, including Narita in Tokyo and Kansai in Osaka. Direct flights between Hong Kong and other destinations, including Sapporo, Fukuoka, and Okinawa, will be halted. This comes as Japan seeks to limit arrivals from China, which will reopen its borders early next month, despite an explosion of COVID cases. Speaking this afternoon, Chief Executive John Lee said he's seeking a ratification of the arrangement.
We have indicated to the Japanese government that we are disappointed with the arrangement, and we have also approached the Consul General of Japan in Hong Kong to relate that message.
Transport Chief Lam Sai-hong, meanwhile, said Japanese authorities have confirmed that Hong Kong holidaymakers can still fly home from airports across Japan despite the restriction. But he urged airlines to explain the situation to passengers who plan to fly to Japan after Friday. Hong Kong Airlines, meanwhile, said it is temporarily suspending its daily services to Sapporo and Okinawa from Friday. Those who have booked tickets will be refunded. The carrier is also arranging 9 flights for those already in those 2 places to return to Hong Kong. One of the city's major travel agents, EGL Tours, said over 3,000 of its customers were affected by the sudden restrictions, but 500 will be able to return as scheduled from Hokkaido.
由佢哋自己咧係全部負責係吉機飛去呢個札幌。
EGL Executive Director Steve Hoon confirmed that Hong Kong Airlines and Hong Kong Express will bear the cost for special flights to pick up its customers in Hokkaido and bring them home. According to a Reuters report, the United States is considering imposing new COVID rules for people traveling from China. In the day's other news, private home prices in Hong Kong have fallen for 6 straight months to their lowest level in more than 5 years. The Rating and Valuation Department's home price index for November dropped 3.3% from the previous month to 339.4. That was the lowest since August 2017 and followed a 2.7% decrease in October. Flats between 431 and 752 square feet slipped the most at 3.5%. Home prices are down 13.8% from a year ago amid expectations that 13 years of continuous growth may end. Rents also retreated and are 4.2% lower than a year ago. Overseas, the hopes of thousands of Hispanic migrants have been dashed after the U.S. Supreme Court blocked them from crossing into the United States. Migrants huddling around a fire on the Mexican side of the border pondered their next move after the court retained a controversial policy that bars migrants because of health fears. Those who enter the U.S. illegally will be sent back to Mexico or their country of origin. But this has not deterred many migrants escaping poverty, crime, and corruption at home. They vowed to defy the rules and try to enter the U.S. illegally. A concerned group is suing the U.S. city of San Francisco for allegedly forcing homeless people to leave public areas and seizing their meager possessions.
They're definitely kicking us when we're down. They're trying to hurt us, and that's not fair. I don't know which way to turn, you know. After losing all my stuff over and over again, I mean, you know, you can gain your stuff back, but it takes a lot of work. It's like we're nothing to them. And they'll come, and the people that come out here and come clean out, they'll cuss us out and treat us like trash.
The crackdown follows complaints from shops that their business has been affected by makeshift homes on the streets. A group representing the 8,000 homeless people in San Francisco hopes that the case will highlight a nationwide problem and force local governments to do more for the poor. The Hong Kong stock market reopened after the Christmas break, with investors reacting positively to mainland's dramatic removal of COVID curbs. The Hang Seng Index gained 1.5%. It climbed above 20,000 points in the morning, but closed below the psychological mark. China travel surged 3.5% ahead of the lifting of border restrictions next month. With mainlanders preparing to holiday abroad for the first time in 3 years, Trip.com jumped 2.8%. Wuxi Biologics continued its upward trend, finishing almost 7% higher. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index closed up 305 points. To the top 10 active stocks, Tencent was up $6, Alibaba up $1.20. Wuxi Biologics up $3.75, AIA up 20 cents. To the forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar, euros at 8.29, pounds at 9.41, and Australian dollar at 5.28. Over to the UK market, FTSE 100 is up 69 points. On to the weather now. It will be cool tomorrow morning, becoming dry and sunny later. Temperatures will range between 13 and 18 degrees, remaining fine and dry, but slightly warmer as we head into 2023. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our main news for Wednesday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Joanna Ho. Good evening.